And now, the general weather around Alaska.
Okay, first graphic here showing winter weather advisory out here for western Prince William Sound, Whittier on down to Seward there for snow and blowing snow resulting in reduced visibilities. And from there, looking at satellite imagery, here's the cloudiness associated with the system pulling up just east of Kodiak Island here this afternoon at the front, pushing up toward the North Gulf Coast, and also some clouds pushing into the Panhandle today. Otherwise, areas of light snow across much of southern Alaska, snow showers of rain and snow for the Alaska Peninsula back toward the Pribilofs, as well as the Aleutians, becoming more of a snow shower situation here from Adak out to Shemya and Attu and those areas. And rolling that through again, you can see southwest flow here, several surges of moisture, some more clouds here moving in on Kodiak Island, another development down here. It'll be taking off to the northeast, and this front will be pushing some precipitation in toward the southeast coast tonight. But today, a system down to the south brought about anywhere from a couple of tenths of an inch of rainfall to the southern panhandle there today. Otherwise, it was dry to the north there with varying amounts of cloudiness. And this system here just east of actually Fognak Island, spreading the gale force winds with gusts of 50 miles an hour into the northern Gulf of Alaska. Winds on the increase along the North Gulf Coast today. Snow into Prince William Sound, North Gulf Coast areas, and to a lesser extent in the Copper River Basin, but across south central Alaska. Anywhere from a half inch to a couple inches of snow there. Several inches of snow falling with this frontal system over the southwest interior, with lighter amounts extending northward, with a weak trough there across the Seward Peninsula in toward Kotzebue Sound and those areas. And snow pretty widespread here across the northern Bering Sea, with a mixture of rain or snow over the southern Bering Sea into the Aleutians here. Back to snow with the colder north winds over the far western Aleutians. And snow showers here, or rain and snow showers for the Alaska Peninsula and eastern Aleutian areas. And for tonight, areas of light snow again cover much of the western interior, up into the Kobuk, Koyukuk valleys, with some flurries possible there in the Yukon Flats, the southern slopes of the Brooks Range. Periods of snow continue with a few more inches likely falling here across south central Alaska on up toward the Alaska Range. North of the mountains, though, staying dry. And snow showers or rain and snow showers, Kodiak Island, the Alaska Peninsula. Periods of rain and snow with that trough swinging across the eastern Aleutians, and then an increase in the west-northwest winds and the colder air streaming in from the northwest, pulling snowfall levels back down to sea level there for the Adak-Atka area. And periods of rain for the southeast coast here as that front makes landfall later tonight or late this evening, with the low center tracking up to just south of Resurrection Bay. Look for periods of rain and snow from the North Gulf Coast. And then for tomorrow, precipitation becomes a little lighter here for the North Gulf Coast areas. Another system develops and starts to increase the wind and rain late in the day along the Panhandle. Areas of light snow covering much of the central interior here out to the west coast southward, and then tending to end over Bristol Bay, tapering off to some snow showers here for the western Alaska Range down to Kodiak Island, staying dry for the north slope to the Arctic coast with light wind conditions. Also on down toward Eagle, dry conditions there with light winds. And north winds not all that strong here across the eastern Bering Sea. 15 to 25 miles an hour, maybe gusts to 40 miles an hour as that trough swings across the eastern Aleutians. And then a weak front here brings more precipitation into the western Aleutians and southwest Bering Sea. And on Thursday, a much stronger storm comes up toward the Aleutians. That'll increase the wind and precipitation there from about Kiska Island eastward into Nikolsky, and even eventually later in the day toward Unalaska Island. Areas of light snow, snow showers, a chance of across much of the Bering Sea into the southwest coast and Bristol Bay. And a chance of showers here over the central interior up to the Brooks Range eastward there over toward the border. But better chance here along this trough axis down into the Kuskokwim Valley, clearing out with northwest winds for Kodiak Island. Low center just south of Cordova there keeps showers going along the North Gulf Coast into Prince William Sound. And for the Panhandle, Warm front spreading rain up into the southern areas, while this trough keeps it showery for the central and northern locations. And for the lows tonight, in the mid to upper 20s here for the northern panhandle, otherwise in the 30s. 20s, south central Alaska near zero in the Copper River Basin, north of the Alaska Range, everywhere below zero, all the way up to the Arctic coast. Teens here over the Bristol Bay area in the southwest interior, there with temperatures 0 to 5 below for the Seward Peninsula. 7 for St. Lawrence Island, add 20 degrees to that for the Pribilofs, and lower 30s for the Aleutians. And then the highs tomorrow, generally rising above zero here in the interior, some areas staying a little below zero, especially over toward the eastern border up into the Yukon Flats, North Slope, Arctic coast areas. Then single numbers warm into the teens to lower 20s out toward the coastal areas, and mid-30s for the Pribilofs, mid to upper 30s for the Aleutians, closer to 40 for Unalaska Island, and upper 20s near 30 for Bristol Bay. Mid-30s Kodiak Island, in the 20s for Cook Inlet and the Susitna-Manuska Valley area, Kenai Peninsula, and 30s to mid-40s for the southeast coast, followed by lows down to 0 to 5 below here for the Yukon Delta area and the Kuskokwim Delta, 5 to 10 above. A little cooler in the Kuskokwim Valley. And again, north of the Alaska Range, temperatures 5 to 20 below zero, all the way up to the Arctic coast. South of the mountains, 10 to 20 for the lows, mid-20s Kodiak Island, 30s for the southeast coast, followed by highs, 30s north, 40s south for the Panhandle, and 0 to 10 for the Copper River Basin, 15 to 20 for the Susitna-Manuska Valley, 20 to 25 for the Kenai Peninsula, and right around 0 or 0 to 10 above for the central and west side. A little cooler up here, 0 to 5 below for the highs for the Yukon Flats, back out toward the Selawik Valley, Kotzebue, on up to the Arctic coast, and in the 30s here for the Bering Sea and the Aleutians.